How do you decide to cut off your own parent? There's no handbook for this, no checklist that says, "Congratulations, you've officially tried hard enough. You can leave now." Going no contact with a parent, especially one with mental illness, is one of the loneliest, most agonizing decisions you'll ever make. Because unlike other relationships, society tells you this one is non-negotiable. Blood is thicker than water. They're your parent. You only get one. But what happens when staying is destroying you? When every boundary you set gets obliterated? When you've tried everything and nothing changes? This is about making the decision nobody prepares you for. Let's be clear. People don't wake up one day and casually decide to cut off their parent. This decision comes after years, sometimes decades, of trying. You tried. Setting boundaries. Please don't call after 9 p.m. Having the conversation, explaining how their behavior hurts you. Limiting topics. No politics, no criticism of my partner, no comments about my body. Lowering expectations, accepting they'll never be who you need them to be. Going to therapy together, if they'd even go. Taking breaks, a few weeks, a few months. Reading books, listening to podcasts, asking for advice, praying, hoping, wishing they'd change. And none of it worked. Or it worked temporarily until it didn't. You kept thinking, maybe if I just explain it better, maybe if I'm more patient, maybe if I change how I approach them, maybe. But here's what you eventually realize. You can't relationship hack your way out of someone else's unwillingness to change. You can't love someone into being healthy. The breaking point. So what finally pushes someone to go no contact? For most people, it's not one massive explosion. It's the accumulation, the weight of years finally becoming unbearable. But there are common breaking points. The pattern recognition. You see them do to your child what they did to you, or you catch yourself doing it, and you think, this ends with me. The health crisis. Your body starts keeping score. Panic attacks before their calls. Insomnia after visits. Depression that lifts when they're not around. Your therapist uses words like trauma response and PTSD. The clarity moment. They do something so egregious, so undeniable, that even the most understanding part of you can't make excuses anymore. The mask fully drops. The energy accounting. You realize that managing this one relationship takes more energy than every other relationship combined. You're exhausted, and you're running out of life to give to them. The questions you'll ask yourself. Even when you know it's the right decision, you'll still question everything. But they're sick. Isn't this abandoning them? Here's the truth. Mental illness explains behavior, but it doesn't excuse harm. You can have compassion for their struggle and protect yourself from the damage. These aren't mutually exclusive. You wouldn't stay in a burning building because the person who lit it didn't mean to. Their intentions don't change your burns. What if they change after I leave? They might. People do change sometimes, but you cannot set yourself on fire to keep them warm while waiting for a change that may never come. Your life is happening now, not in the hypothetical future where they finally get help. What if something happens to them and I regret this? This is the fear that keeps so many people trapped. But consider this. Will you regret more, leaving and possibly feeling guilty later, or staying and definitely losing yourself now? What will people think of me? The people who judge you for leaving are the people who haven't lived it. Their opinions are based on a version of family that never existed for you. You don't owe them your suffering to maintain their comfort. You don't need to keep bleeding to prove the knife was sharp. Am I being too sensitive/dramatic/unforgiving? If you're asking this question, you've probably been gaslit for years into doubting your own reality. Listen, if you're considering going no contact, it's bad. People don't arrive at this decision lightly. Making the decision. So how do you actually decide? Start with a trial period. You don't have to declare no contact forever on day 1. Try 30 days, 90 days. See what happens. Give yourself permission to experiment. Notice. How do you feel physically? Sleep, appetite, anxiety levels? How do you feel emotionally? Relief, guilt, both? What do you do with the time and energy you're not spending on them? Do they respect your boundary or do they escalate? Journal the patterns. Write down incidents. Not to build a case against them, but because memory is unreliable, especially when you're being manipulated. You need facts when the guilt tries to rewrite history. Talk to people who get it, not people who'll say, but that's your parent. Talk to people who understand that family can be toxic. A therapist who specializes in family trauma, support groups for adult children of parents with mental illness, online communities where you don't have to explain yourself. Trust your body. Your nervous system knows. If the thought of their name on your phone makes your chest tight, if you dread holidays, if you need days to recover after seeing them, your body is giving you information. Listen to it. The actual decision. Here's what making the decision looks like. You don't have to make a dramatic announcement. Some people send a final letter or email explaining their decision. Others just stop responding. Fade out. Block numbers. There's no right way. Choose what feels safest for you. You don't owe them a dissertation on why you're leaving. You don't owe them closure. You don't owe them one more chance to argue with your boundaries. You can change your mind. Going no contact doesn't have to be a permanent, irrevocable vow. Some people do it forever. Some people take a long break and eventually try again with firmer boundaries. Some people cycle through contact and distance multiple times before it sticks. All of these are valid. You're allowed to figure this out as you go. It will feel wrong before it feels right. Your body and mind have been conditioned for years to prioritize their needs over yours, to feel responsible for their emotions, to believe you're the problem. Going no contact goes against all of that conditioning. Of course it feels wrong at first. That doesn't mean it is wrong. Discomfort doesn't equal mistake. Give it time. The clarity usually comes later. If you're sitting with this decision right now, I need you to hear this. You are not a bad person for considering this. You're not cruel. You're not heartless. You're not giving up too easily. You are someone who has tried everything, endured too much, and finally decided that your life matters too. You are allowed to save yourself, even from family, even from someone who's sick, even from someone who didn't mean it. The people who love you, truly love you, will understand eventually, and the ones who don't, they were never going to support your healing anyway. This decision is not about hate, it's about survival. It's not about punishing them. It's about finally protecting yourself. It's not about being unforgiving. It's about recognizing that forgiveness doesn't require ongoing contact with harm. You can forgive someone and still keep them at a distance. You can love someone and still choose yourself. The decision will hurt either way. Staying hurts. Leaving hurts. But only one of those gives you a chance to heal. Choose the hurt that moves you forward, not the hurt that keeps you stuck. If you're wrestling with this decision, know you're not alone. Drop a comment, even just a heart emoji, to let others in this community know they're not the only one. Subscribe for more honest conversations about the hardest parts of family trauma. And if you decide to go no contact, or if you decide to stay, or if you're still figuring it out, whatever you choose, I hope you choose it with the knowledge that you matter. Your peace matters. Your safety matters. This is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, but you are strong enough. You've already proven that by surviving this long. Whatever you decide, decide for yourself. Not for them, not for what others think. For you. The next video will talk about what actually happens after you make this decision, the parts nobody warns you about. For now, just breathe. You've got this.